Right now, this is your man King U, and what I'm gonna do is break it down to y'all in what they call layman's terms because it seems y'all don't understand. All right, when I say they holding me illegally. Okay, so let me break it down. I'm gonna break down the law for y'all real quick. 1, subject matter jurisdiction. 2, fraud on the court. These are the two primary issues that I'm talking about. Why? Because they can't be overcome by anything, even a guilty plea. Okay, they still have to be recognized. All right, so check it out. When I say that right now, it's good. Okay, check it out. It's like this, man. The purpose of the court is to mediate disputes between two different parties or whatever, more parties, whatever it is, right? It's to mediate the dispute according to the law. Interpret the law and mediate the dispute. Bring some kind of resolution to a dispute. When something happens, a crime, there's a dispute between, I guess, the people or the prosecution and the accused, right? You know what I'm saying? So, Ben, it starts off though, usually, unless the state itself or the police officer themselves is saying that they're witness to the act, it starts off with accusations from one person to another. Okay, so Ben, that's their purpose. See, in my case, there was no freaking dispute. In the beginning, when shit went down, they described themselves as having helped a friend in the fight against me. They all said they came to help a friend. They never said which one. They all said we came to help a friend. They never said who started it. So if they don't say, if they're not saying who started it, and I'm saying it was self-defense, you know, I'm saying I didn't start it. You know what I'm saying? Ben, you know, there's no dispute. They have to take my word as a matter of law. Okay? They have to take sworn statements. There was no sworn statements in my case, right? So that's one matter of subject matter jurisdiction. Because subject matter jurisdiction is jurisdiction over a type of case. Okay, there's 3 parts of jurisdiction that the court has to have. Territorial, meaning the area, personal jurisdiction of the person and all this type of stuff, and jurisdiction over the type of case that it is, okay? They don't have jurisdiction over a case where there is no dispute. So for them to hold me for the first 2 months until somebody comes up and changes their statement to say that I started the fight, you understand what I'm saying? 2 months later, you know what I'm saying? That means that the whole thing is illegal. I don't know if y'all know anything about fruit of the poisonous tree or whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying? When the evidence is tainted and stuff like that. It's much worse when there's no evidence. You see, fruit of the poisonous tree, tainted evidence and all that type of stuff. It says, hey, you know what I'm saying? Whatever from that point on is void. You understand what I'm saying? Because shit was tainted. No evidence is much worse than that, man. That means that it shows the character of the prosecution more. You understand what I'm saying? They're doing a favor, holding me on behalf of somebody else that they're trying to impress for whatever reason. Could be money, could be influence, could be for whatever reason, could be for favors. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, that means that my case is illegal from the beginning. There's no way to fix that. There's no way to fix subject matter jurisdiction. Okay? Once it's not there, they don't have a way to grab it. Even if I would have pled guilty, they wouldn't be able to do it because they never had the power. The power comes from that complaint. There's no complaint in my case. There's no sworn to complaint. Okay? There's nothing notarized. Okay? The court only is allowed to recognize evidence that is sworn to. So the evidence that they're getting and what's sworn to in the police officer station does not qualify. That only qualifies as evidence regarding the internal investigation of the police officers. You know what I'm saying? For them to keep their investigation going. It's not what they can bring to the judge and be accepted as evidence unless they get it notarized. Okay? They got to get it notarized. It's got to be sworn to before someone authorized to administer oaths. That's the definition of an affidavit, is a statement sworn to before someone authorized to administer oaths. Okay? So, Ben, now, in my case, the paperwork that you're going to see, and if you look at my case, you're going to see that the police took some type of oath saying you swear under oath or you swear to these allegations, but they don't have the power and authority to administer oaths. There's a separation of power in the courts, okay? That's why it goes from one place to the other, then there has to be a hearing on that, and then it goes, otherwise the police will take you straight to trial, okay? They have hearings on these type of things to recognize whether or not the evidence is credible and worth being brought forward, okay? In my case, you know what I'm saying, it's called, okay, subject matter jurisdiction. You will find the law on that under jurisdiction, which is under Florida Criminal Practice and Procedure, Chapter 1. Okay, it's Chapter 1. It's the first thing that you learn in the law. So all of y'all should pay attention to this because y'all need to know this. You understand what I'm saying? It's the first thing that they learn because their power stands on that. You know what I'm saying? And that comes from the Constitution, where they get their law from there. Boom. You understand what I'm saying? But that's the first thing that they learn, okay? It's Chapter 1.01. Not even Chapter 1.1. I said Chapter 1.1 before in one of my arguments. You know what I'm saying? But it's Chapter 1.01. And if you go even, if you look into Chapter 1.01, it's going to break down territorial, personal, and subject matter jurisdiction. And then it's going to tell you in Chapter 1.05 is going to specifically address subject matter jurisdiction. Okay? All right? What's crazy is that the judge, one of the judges who had to do with the publishing of that law is actually one of the judges in my case. So there's no way that she didn't know. You understand what I'm saying? That she was doing something, she was committing a felony against me. You understand what I'm saying? Because there's no factual subject matter jurisdiction and there's no facial subject matter jurisdiction, because the facial would be if there was some notarized statements or something like that saying that I committed a crime, whatever, boom. But even in the things that were stated in the crime, it says that a fight happened and blah, 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 but it doesn't say that I started it. So it still doesn't say, it doesn't amount to the crime. You see what I'm saying? You're telling me I'm supposed to be fighting 5 dudes all by myself, you know what I'm saying? And I'm the guilty one, you know, at my vehicle, when the CSI says the car came, that they was, you know, the fight happened at the rear passenger side of my vehicle. The blood spatter evidence shows that. Okay, bam. Okay, now fraud on the court. Fraud on the court is, okay, you're going to see fraud and you're going to see fraud on the court. Fraud, regular fraud is about 4 years. You know what I'm saying? There's a 4-year time limitation. But fraud on the court could be brought up at any time, just like subject matter jurisdiction. Fraud on the court means one or two things happen. The fraud that happened, you know, calls into question the integrity of the proceeding, right? Or it caused the defendant's participation from, it prevented the defendant's participation from being effective, okay? So that means, you know, a fraudulent document accepted as legitimate, okay, where it's not notarized, but it's signed by 2 police officers, which means that it's still not notarized, you understand what I'm saying, is accepted by the court as evidence to hold me, okay? Now that's fraud on the court. And it prevents my participation of me saying, hey, yo, listen, man, you know what I'm saying? You know, I ain't supposed to be here, y'all holding me illegally. You understand what I'm saying? It prevents my participation from being effective, okay? And it calls into question the integrity of the proceeding itself. So this is fundamental. This is not like a fraud in the court that comes up later on after everything has been legitimately established. We're talking about the foundation of the case itself. You understand what I'm saying? So bam, that's the bottom line. When it comes down to it, I'm being held illegally. You understand what I'm saying? This is why the first thing on my docket says October 25th, 2006, complaint filed none. 10/25/06, complaint filed none. The clerk knew that it didn't qualify as a complaint. Anyway, hopefully this educated y'all a little bit, and you know what I'm saying, they're not allowed to do anything like this to y'all, you understand what I'm saying? But they've been doing this type of thing, and I guess that's what it is, basically. So I don't even know why they still letting me live and all that type of stuff, because you know I'm not going to stop fighting. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get out there to my loved ones, to my mother, to my sisters and my nieces and my nephew and my kids, you know what I'm saying? Even though they grown and they ain't been, you know what I mean, on their job, but I'm gonna be there. You understand what I'm saying? One way or another, I'm gonna win. Even if I die in here, I'm gonna win. You understand what I'm saying?